Evening, Patriots. Me again, Santa Fox here, the Road Patriots 2 channel. Got several things I wanted to bring to y'all this afternoon, this Friday evening, should I say. Some things going on in the news cycle that I thought were very important. In case you missed some of them, we're going to go through all of them, and I've skipped a few just because there is so much going on in the news. About every 24 hours, I find about 50 or 75 different news bites that are actually worthy of putting up here. And just don't have that much time in the day. But we'll go through some of them together that I think are really, like I said, really next level necessary, including some things coming up like arrests and indictments. But first off, if you don't already know, this week one of the big stories that hit was Tulsi Gabbard and the Trump team. Were discussing several things in a conference with the press there. And one of the things that Tulsi Gabbard happened to bring up was the fact that they are working towards fighting for election integrity and shoring up the whole voting process in every way possible, investigating these companies, uh, like the lawyers that represent Dominion voting machines, and so many different things involving the fraudulence of the 2020 election, which has been called out by Ms. Gabbard as well. So this week, the 2020 stolen election can of worms has been opened up, wide open by Trump. Matter of fact, he fired the guy that was running the Cyber Infrastructure Security Agency, who said this was the cleanest election in history. Well, that guy and his subordinates all got shit canned the other day as a part of an investigation that is being looked at into them, involving not just censorship, but illegals being purposely, intentionally uh, work their way into the system so they could vote through Social Security and so many other things. And I think we're finding out that a lot of these Social Security numbers that are matching up with these dead people that are, I think they're going to find a trail where these same entities were using the same people, same process, because there's no way we have so many thousands and thousands of people on Social Security, Medicaid, food stamps, getting unemployment checks, and they're dead. They're not born. They're 150 years old. This is probably somebody that works in the government that has access to these systems and access to just create another paycheck for somebody as a form of bribe. And I believe that's what's really going on, including giving these benefits to the illegals as they come over with a Social Security number. They can get benefits on. That's what's really happened, and I think they're going to prove all that within a shadow of a doubt. And they're going to prove that our government facilitated it. The FBI, the CIA, every one of these related agencies that are involved in our immigration process, on behest of the Biden Obama administration. And I said it, Biden Obama. And that's what I have to believe. It wasn't Biden's idea. They all hated open borders at one time, but it is what it is. Now, right now, Trump's big news of the day is he is suing the law firm that is another law firm which represents Dominion voting machines for the way they acted, for what they've done to prevent them from getting future access, and so many other things that are involved in just shoring up our elections. We're going to get rid of the machines, as far as I can tell. I believe that's coming, and I believe Trump's going to make that happen, if not before the 2026, by the 2028. Hopefully, he can get it done immediately. Uh, but at this point, we usually leave it up to the states, and I don't think that's the best answer because left wing states are now going to be forced to have voter ID, which is going to help a lot. And then we get these machines out, and then we investigate these machine companies and their lawyers, and we kick them out of our system so they don't have the ability to go in and snatch names and numbers and reuse and work for other political parties later on down the road. We need to stop their abilities. And so that's why Trump is suing this particular law firm. I've got a list here of several law firms that Trump administration has been suing in the last several weeks. Said President Trump on Wednesday signed a sweeping executive order launching a federal investigation and a crackdown on the law firm of Sussman Godfrey LLP, the legal powerhouse behind Dominion voting system, highly publicized in 2020 election defamation lawsuit, including a $787 million settlement from Fox, going after Mike Lindell, threatening to sue everybody, getting Tucker fired. I believe that's the truth. That's just my opinion. But the firm also is pursuing defamation cases against other Trump allies, including Rudy Giuliani and Lindell, like I said. The new directive orders in the Department of Justice, the Office of Management and Budget and Intelligence Agency to immediately initiate a full-scale investigation into Sussman Godfrey. Open a case on him, citing a pattern of egregious conduct, ra- racial discrimination, and weaponization of the legal system against political opponents and the American people. And they definitely did that. There's no doubt about it. Says, well, here, I'll just let you listen to Trump say it.
Sir, you've taken action against a number of law firms that have in one way or another been involved in the weaponization of government or actions of lawfare. One of those law firms is Sussman Godfrey, similar to what we've done previously with other law firms. This is an executive order that takes certain measures against Sussman Godfrey to ensure that they can't access government resources, government buildings, scrutinizing certain aspects of their practices as a law firm, given their previous activities.
He did the same thing with Perkins Coie.
We signed with many law firms, the ones that we thought were inappropriate, and they've all agreed to pay $1 million. They went for some pretty big numbers. I guess we have a total. What do we have? What's the total about? What's the total right now, Steve? About, would you say?
Getting close to probably 600-700 million now, I would think. We've multiple at 100 million, some at 125 million. So the numbers are adding up. We're going to be close to $1 billion soon.
One at $40 million.
Wow.
Millions of dollars an hour. But they don't admit guilt. Remember that, they don't admit guilt. But then we have another 5 to go, I think, 5 of them. And this one is we're just starting a process with this one.
Yes, sir.
Because there were some very bad things that happened with these law firms.
And this firm is very involved in the election misconduct.
Weren't they all involved in the election misconduct? I think they were all involved.
Yes.
Anyway.
As a matter of fact, they all were involved in the election misconduct. Now, the point here is not just that he's going after the people that protect Dominion and threaten everybody like Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani and the whole Trump's other lawyer, Eastman, all these people, the 18 people in Georgia that got sued over contesting the election. Same thing happened in Colorado. Several states where people tried to jump in and sue Tina Peters. They end up getting the book thrown at them because of the fear of Dominion voting machines getting involved when these people start questioning the validity of these machines. These voting machine companies are tyrants with their lawyers, no doubt about it. We've seen it with the censorship here on YouTube for several years. It says, and like I said, folks, a lot of times you'll see these articles and I don't read the whole thing. You're welcome to come over to my channel on X where I repost 90% of this stuff. Or the Gateway Pundit. A lot of times I get articles over there if you ever want to go through the full gambit of the articles. So this is about rooting out firms that use our justice system in a political weapon as a political weapon, said White House Staff Secretary Will Scharf. Sussman Godfrey has made millions helping silence questions about the 2020 elections. That ends now. They made tons and tons of money as contractors to kill the story. The Sussman Godfrey is now the 6th firm to face consequences under Trump's campaign to dismantle politically weaponized legal firms. Previous targets include Covington and Burling for representing Hunter Biden and lobbying on behalf of the Chinese tech firms, Perkins Coie, Hillary Clinton go-to firm and architect of the Steele dossier involving the Crossfire hurricane thing, which we'll talk a little bit about too as well today. Paul Weiss, Jenner, and Block and Wilmer Hale, major players, and shielding corporate and political elites from accountability. These are just a few, and I believe in the next few days there will be some more to add to this list with the incoming news of the next can of worms fixing to get open. And we'll get into that here later in the video. All right. It is Friday night. I'm probably going to talk your ear off tonight, folks. I've got about 15 windows open here, so we're going to go through them. It's been a long day, but I have been blessed to be able to feed the homeless today. I stopped on my way home and dropped off quite a bit of food, considering I got a big bag of groceries again at my job today, and don't really have room in the freezer for them. I may end up having to buy me a little miniature freezer for the kitchen just to accommodate the homeless. So that may be in the works. Okay, let's get into this. And this thing gonna spool. Says the FBI's dirty secrets are out. 700 pages of unredacted Crossfire hurricane files have just been released, and it is worse than anyone imagined. One name keeps appearing over and over and over. Stephen Halper, the informant paid to spy on Donald Trump, paid by who? The FBI, with your tax dollars for decades. This wasn't about Russia. This wasn't about collusion. This was about political espionage, character assassination, taking down Trump by any means necessary. Remember, General Flynn? Halpern was one of the ones who spread the lie. Flynn left a conference alone with a Russian woman, fake, fabricated, debunked by the FBI themselves, but the damage was done. So the guy was a known liar and very discredited, but they still used him because he was willing to get up there and say, "Yeah, I seen it." Says Flynn's life was destroyed, Trump's campaign spied on, and the deep state walked away untouched. What does this mean? The FBI didn't investigate Trump. The FBI targeted Trump. They paid informants. They planted lies. They weaponized the intelligence community against the sitting president. The swamp isn't just real; it's documented, and now the 700 pages proves it. This Russia hoax wasn't just a scam; it was treason, and I agree wholeheartedly. Time for the truth. Time for the accountability. All right, let's listen to a little bit of this.
Some big breaking news. You're going to get it here first because you're Real America's Voice fans and you watch Just the News. Earlier today, the FBI under Kash Patel turned over to Congress 700 pages of Crossfire hurricane documents, unredacted and declassified. These are the documents President Trump intended to be released in January 2021, but the FBI scooped them up, kept them from going to public release. We sued, tried to fight for them. Donald Trump came back into office and he released them a second time. And today they got to Congress and then they ended up in the hands of Just the News. And in just an hour, you're going to see our first story. I'm going to give you a timetable, 7 p.m. Our first story is going to come out on justthenews.com.
All right, folks, let's see if I got this other X post that I was trying to save. I don't know if I saved it or not. We're fixing to find out. Okay, we'll go ahead and do this one next. There was one of the posts where somebody asked Grok, what were all the criminal charges in the Steele dossier, basically having Grok read the Steele dossier and cipher all the criminal charges out. Pretty interesting. Done it in quick time. I mean, that's better than somebody having to comb through 700 pages of information. Just ask Grok a certain question about the 700 pages, and there comes a list of answers. Pretty amazing. I'm gonna start learning to use the resources that we have with AI. I would like to get a little more comfortable with it myself, just because I see it is a useful tool. It says the intelligence agencies conspired with the media to frame a sitting president of the United States, otherwise known as treason. This is one of the biggest scandals in history.
Is anyone ever going to be held accountable for abusing power to that level?
Good question.
Well, that's the goal, Sean. That's the goal, is to find the evidence, find the documentation that proves this to be true. We've seen little bits and pieces of it that have been released publicly so far, but not anywhere near the extent of of what the intent was behind this whole Russia collusion hoax. Obviously, the president was their #1 target. And there were also many other people around President Trump who were also targeted simply because they were friends of his or family members of his. We are digging deep to find everything that has been related to this. And I guarantee you there are some U.S. attorneys who are eager to see what we are finding, and in some cases are already working their own cases to bring about that necessary accountability. If no one is ever held accountable, we are going to continue to see this weaponization, politicization of the intelligence community, our law enforcement, the Department of Justice. And as you know, Sean, it completely undermines the rule of law and the American people's ability to have any trust whatsoever in these foundational principles of our country. And that's what we're trying to restore.
Trying to restore that trust. She says people are going to go to jail. We got to make an example out of them. Otherwise, they're going to continue to do it. They're going to continue to do it. We all know it. So you have to make examples out of people. Like, you start giving every person that messes with these Teslas a good 20 years, 30 years, they'll figure it out. Now, this here is one of the creeps as part of the Crossfire Hurricane with the classification of Crossfire Hurricane. Here's a video of Peter Strzok. He was one of the main players in this lie. He testified under oath that the entire 7th floor brass at the FBI is guilty of sedition and implicating all of them. A coup from Comey to McCabe, Strzok, Page, Lisa Monaco. There's so many of them. They all have to go to prison. I agree with that. Listen to this crazy dude. He is a weird dude.
At every step, at every investigative decision, there are multiple layers of people above me, the assistant director, executive assistant director, deputy director, and director of the FBI, and multiple layers of people below me, section chiefs, supervisors, unit chiefs, case agents, and analysts, all of whom were involved in all of these decisions. At every step, at every investigation.
He said it wasn't just me, it was the whole team. So he says. Okay, perfect. I found it. I wasn't sure if I still had this clip. This is a good one here. It says, I'm going to read you all the Crossfire Hurricane documents, but I asked Grok to give it a scan and tell me which laws were broken and by whom. Goes so much faster. Let's check it out. I'm going to read this stuff to you. Okay. It says, FBI official Crossfire Hurricane falsification of evidence. Who? Kevin Kleinsmith. FISA abuse. Who? James Comey, Andrew McCabe. Conspiracy to violate civil rights. Who? Comey, McCabe, Strzok. Christopher Steele and Fusion GPS. This is the second one. Fake statement to federal authorities. And the fake statement, and Fusion GPS is the one that is tied in with Hillary Clinton as well. It says fake statements and federal authority, fake statements to federal authorities. Christopher Steele, he lied. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. Steele, Fusion GPS, Perkins Coie, the DNC, the Clinton campaign officials, probably Hillary herself. Foreign Agents Regulatory Act, FARA Act, violations, meaning they didn't register as a foreign agent while they were making money from overseas. That's just a handful. There's plenty more. Okay, third, DNC, Clinton campaign and Perkins Coie, campaign finance violations. Who? DNC, Clinton campaign, Perkins Coie, lawyer Mark Elias. Throw his ass in jail. Throw his ass in jail. He is the worst of the worst as far as Democrat lawyers. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. Who? DNC, Clinton campaigns, Perkins Coie, and GPS. And I'm sure there's more charges they could get them on, like conspiracy and stuff behind their actions. Intelligence community, misuse of classified information. Who? FBI officials, ICA authors, James Clapper, John Brennan. Obstruction of justice. obstruction of justice. Who? The FBI, many of their officials, and ICA Arthur. All right, we'll go on to the next one. These are the crimes that Grok listed from the 700 page. Campaign finance violations. Who? The DNC, the Clinton campaign, Perkins Coie, lawyer Mark Elias. Get him again. A conspiracy to defraud the United States government. Who? DNC, Clinton campaign, Perkins Coie, Fusion GPS. Intelligence community, ICA, Arthur's ICA, intelligence community agents. Misuse of classified information. Who? FBI officials, ICA, Arthur's, Clapper, Brennan, several more. Obstruction of justice. Who? FBI officials, ICA, Arthur. Number 5 here, broader context, alleged suppression of evidence. That's that censorship stuff and destroying evidence. Obstruction of justice, informational context. Who? UK officials. Ooh, getting ugly. Yeah, England had something to do with this. England's their intelligence department for England's, I guess it would be like MI6, something of that nature. Well, they didn't mind trying to dethrone Trump by any means necessary, including accepting the farmed out work from our government. Our government farms work out from to other agencies in other countries, so that way they don't look like our own country's doing it to ourselves. Happens all the time, folks. Farming it out. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting piece of information. That's what Grok has come up with so far. About 15 or 20 crimes minimum on there involving what looks like 24 people, a dozen people at least. I can't even say how many, to be honest. Okay, I don't know what happened here. Uh-oh, maybe they took the post down. Huh. This post doesn't exist. All right, we'll see. Okay. Uh-oh, Federal Election Commission launches investigation into far-left rep Jasmine Crockett. This is probably has to do with this Act Blue. I haven't read this, but I was curious myself, so I figured we'll read it together. It says Representative Jasmine Crockett from Dallas appears to be in some legal trouble for that could actually stick this time. The Daily Signal reported on Thursday that the Federal Elections Commission, FEC, has launched an investigation into Crockett regarding highly suspicious donations made to her 2024 re-election campaign. According to the outlet, a conservative advocacy group called Coolidge Reagan Foundation made the FEC complaint on March 26th. FEC Assistant General Counsel for Complaint and Examination and Legal Administration then notified Crockett via letter on April 2nd. The respondent will be notified of the complaint within 5 business days, Brown said. So she got a formal letter saying somebody thought there was some shenanigans. Says you will be notified as soon as the Federal Election Commission takes final action on your client's complaint. She added, should you receive any additional information in this matter, please forward it to the office of the General Counsel. The complaint references a 73-year-old Texas resident named Randy Best, who has made 53 separate donations totaling $595 to Crockett campaign through Act Blue. However, Sheldon Daniels, one of the Crockett's GOP opponents for 2026, promoted a video showing that Best's wife denied knowing anything about the donations. This suggests the donations were made without the couple's knowledge. Yeah, it's a little subjective there. It's really hard to say. So Sheldon Daniels, who was running against Jasmine Crockett, went to their houses to confirm the contributions, and they had no idea what these charges were. Imagine that. Some of that Act Blue stuff. Says the bigger picture is that the Crockett campaign received $870,000 in total donations through Act Blue. The Coolidge Reagan Foundation FEC complaint says that it includes $595 from Miss Best, recorded from Miss Best, who lived in Plano. Crockett, through her principal campaign committee, responded Jasmine for U.S. has received thousands of other donations through ActBlue, totaling over $870,000. The FEC complaint says it is unclear how many of these are similarly fraudulent transactions made in the name of unsuspecting innocent people who do not actually provide the funds. We know ActBlue is doing that. They're getting caught if they just actually audit ActBlue, complete audit, and it will be ugly. Actually, they're going to have to investigate them in order to get an audit. They're going to have to subpoena all their records. It says ActBlue fundraising has faced questions by congressional Republicans and GOP state attorney generals in a story cited by in the FEC complaint. The Daily Signal previously reported several elderly Americans say they were not aware of ActBlue donations in their name. The next step is for the respondent, Crockett, to have 15 days to respond to the allegations. The FEC historically grants extensions to 30 and 60 days, is what it said. Says Gateway Funding is extensively reported on ActBlue suspicious fundraising activities for months now. We've discussed that James O'Keefe has actually had a whistleblower come on and break it all down on camera in a bar one day. That was a while back. But truth be known, this is all getting exposed, folks. It says it's explosive. It's in an explosive interview with Benny Johnson back in March. James Comer revealed that he was teamed up with the FBI to investigate ActBlue for being part of what they called the biggest money laundering scandal in American political history. I remember this. Haven't heard nothing else about it from Congress, of course. They let that one die on the vine. But Comer laid out a damning case against the far left fundraising juggernaut, accusing them of funneling billions into suspicious cash, potentially from foreign adversaries, into Democrat coffers. Some of that George Soros money, or even China money, under the guise of grassroots donations. We're, we're investigating ActBlue the same way that we investigated the Bidens, Comer said. We're starting with the suspicious activity report, bank violation flag. I hope he doesn't do it like he did the Biden report. They're still investigating Biden, and Biden will be dead before they finish that investigation. No offense to Biden, but we only got so much time. We've only got the next 3+ years to get to the bottom of some of this stuff. James Comer needs to get on the ball. Just my opinion. It takes them 3 or 4 years to do an investigation, and they don't really come up with nothing that's going to get anybody locked up. Hate to say that, but it's true. But I think things are changing, folks. I believe people are going to start going to jail. They are just now building cases against everybody. Some of these people are going to go to jail behind political donations, behind scams, behind pedophilia, uh, behind weaponization of government. There's a lot of people like Adam Schiff who probably has now got a list of things he's got to worry about. A list. And I think it's this way for a lot of the Democrats at this point. Now, crazy Jasmine Crockett, while we're talking about her today, listen to this statement. She says that deportations is has a lot to do with the price of groceries. Go figure.
Realm. So I am telling you that this is a failed thing, but we've got to do better to connect the dots and let people know the reason you can't afford a home is because of these failed immigration policies. The reason you're not going to be able to afford your food is because of these failed immigration policies. And the same can go for the hospitality industries, where we have so many of those in the hospitality industry that are saying they do not have the workers that they need right now. Realm. So I am telling
That's some logic right there, folks. Wow. She's a little much. I can only listen to a little bit of her. She's like AOC. I just can only take a little bit. President Trump put out a truth a little bit earlier today. It says no more sanctuary cities. He signed an EO on it. He is now butting heads with several states, including Jay Pritzker from the governor from New Jersey. And it's fixing to get ugly. He is fixing to sanction the funds coming into these cities and states. It says no more sanctuary cities. They protect the criminals, not the victims. They are disgrace. They are disgracing our country and are being mocked all over the world. Working on papers to withhold all federal funding for any city or state that allows these death traps to exist. I'm going to slap the tariffs on. I'm going to slap the no more money for you on these folks, and it won't take long. Now, this here is another crazy story, but maybe this will be a lesson for people that think it's okay to threaten to kill people, whether it be online, in person, or just telling it to your friends. Anybody that thinks that murder is a good idea really needs to have their head examined. And if you are spouting about assassinations on political figures, I don't care if you're on the left or the right, you got problems and you need to be dealt with in one way or another. You probably need some psychiatric help, to be honest with you. But this guy here, he's going to get more than that. He's going to get him way to the Gray Bar Motel, get him a ride.
We do have breaking news, and so I was planning on talking about China some more. We have breaking news right now out of Butler, Pennsylvania. Yes, the very same Butler, Pennsylvania, from all the way back July 13th, 2024. Today, we've got the news now that a Butler man, a new individual, has just been arrested out there in Pennsylvania, accused of threatening to kill President Trump, to kill ICE agents, as well as kill Elon Musk. This individual, we're told, was stockpiling body armor, weapons, ammunition, and has been saying that I was buying one gun a month since the election. Also, he used the moniker online on YouTube, Mr. Satan. There's a quote that I want to read from him here, and he says, "We just need," and I want to say this, and this is heady stuff, but look, this is what we're up against, folks. This individual says, "We just need to start killing people. Trump, Elon, all the heads of agencies Trump appointed, and anyone who stands in the way." I'm reading directly from the Department of Justice release here, the criminal complaint. He says, "Remember, we are the majority. MAGA is a minority of the country, and by the time it's time to make the move, they will be weakened. Many will be crushed by these policies. They want revenge too. American Revolution 2.0. And the comments just get worse and worse after that.
Dang. Well, I'm glad to hear they locked his ass up. Yep, they got to go arrest people like that. Got to go knock on their door and ask them what they meant by that statement. Oh, you got guns?
Now, the U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, Alina Habba, is here with more.
When you got too many guns, I mean, everybody's not a big gun collector. I've had many guns in my life, but when you're talking about having people killed and stockpiling bullets and body armor for some apocalyptic end that you believe is going to happen, maybe you need some friends that are normal people. Maybe you need a wife or some kind of companion. You need something. There's something in your life missing if you're one of those people who likes to go play army in the woods and prepare for the end of the world and want political opposition to be dead. There's those zealots out there. I think of them like domestic terrorists. That's what I would call these people in this country. And that includes the white supremacists as well. Not there's a lot of them to speak of. I don't hear nothing about them except for on mainstream media. I'm white supremacist. But in reality, if there's groups out there that are race-based hatred, they need to keep their opinions to themselves, as far as I'm concerned, because it did not do nothing but fuel the fire of what's going on in this world. To get on social media and pick on people, blast out violent rhetoric. Not that politicians aren't capable of it too, but it's leading us down a path that is making it very unsafe for everybody. Politicians, podcasters, civil servants, just people in the public eye are now, in some cases, needing private security just behind the haters on the internet. And it's sad to be that way, folks. I hope they take everybody that talks like this and goes and knocks on their door when they look through that peephole and they realize Cash Patel or Pam Bondi or somebody's there in a flak jacket, heavily armed, ready to take you in custody. Don't know what time it is, and I'm glad to see that that's how they will handle this in the future. Maybe this is a wake up moment for some of these idiots. Maybe not, but they need to think twice before they get too far into spouting things that they're not thinking about what they're saying, or maybe they are thinking about what they're saying and just don't care. But words have power. That was basically my whole point of this whole rant. Words have power, and so please be careful what you say. Uh, I try myself. I try to be kind when I can.
Or, is that true? Do you have proof of that? Have you heard that to be true?
Let me give you a very brief summary of what we do know. We know that the governor has on his website currently do's and don'ts for his local state of law enforcement. Those do's and don'ts instruct them not to cooperate with illegal immigrants who have administrative warrants that have been issued by the court after due process saying that they are no longer welcome here. They have gone through the court system. They are to be deported. It is instructing them to go against our federal rules, our executive orders. And I am unfortunately going to announce on your show tonight, Sean, and I want it to be a warning for everybody, that I have instructed my office today to open an investigation into Governor Murphy, to open an investigation into Attorney General Platkin, who has also instructed the state police not to assist any of our federal, and they list our federal agencies that are under my direction, the FBI, the DEA, all these individuals that are trying to clean up our streets in New Jersey, not to cooperate. That will no longer stand. Pam Bondi has made it clear, and so has our president, that we are to take all violent criminals and criminals out of this country and to completely enforce federal law. And anybody who does get in that way, in the way of what we are doing, which is not political, it is simply against crime, will be charged in the state of New Jersey for obstruction, for concealment, and I will come after them hard. Those investigations will start immediately. The governor and the attorney general.
She's threatening the governor and the attorney general with prosecution if they get in the way. Did y'all catch that, folks? I like it. I'm ready to see a politician go to jail for defiance. It'll be sweet, folks. I'm ready. I'm hoping they make us wait so long that we're eating our popcorn and we're anticipating the first held accountable, and then we're frustrated because it's taking too long, like we are now. Me, I'm trying to be patient about it, and then we look up one day and go, "Oh, I guess today's the day," because they just start pouring out. The news goes crazy with indictments for X amount of politicians in Congress and X amount of representatives and X amount of military, X amount of lawyers and involved parties from the three-lettered agencies. Oh, it's going to be glorious, folks. If we just take everybody to jail involved in election crimes, that'll be a lot. If we take everybody to jail that's just involved in weaponization of government, that would be a lot. If we take everybody to jail that was involved in the whole Epstein thing, that would be a lot. How about Congress taking bribes? That may be all of them. I don't know. We may have to redo Congress if that's the case. But folks, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully, y'all had a great day. Just trying to enjoy my Friday evening here at the house. Going to get out there tomorrow. Go do a little bit of shopping for the homeless with some funds that I've got on my Cash App from one of my great listeners, and make sure they got plenty of drink with the food I'm going to buy them. Maybe buy them some more socks or something. I think they appreciated the socks last time. But we'll be doing a live Sunday afternoon, sometime between lunchtime and 4 or 5 o'clock, and we'll go downtown and hunt the homeless, hunt the hungry homeless, and hook them up. All right, folks, everybody have a great day. But before I get out of here, I want to show you something. This is a picture of Barack Obama and the White House that was been in there this entire time until today, when it gets replaced with a new picture. Check it out, folks. Trump has now put the iconic fist pump, blood running down his face, assassination attempt, right there. So he's got his mugshot, and he's got the oil painting of the fist pump in the White House. I love it. I love it, folks. Like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already. And I do like comments in the comment section. I read every single one of them, whether y'all know it or not. And just tell me where you're from. If I don't know you as a listener, if you don't comment often, just give me a comment out there and just let me know where you're from. It does help the algorithm as well. Have a good one, folks. Over and out.